Samsung's Z Fold phones. Will the Z Fold 7 revive the excitement for the Z Fold line? Today we're going to talk about the 5 main things that are going to really drive excitement on the Z Fold 7. And stay tuned to the end, and I'll give you my full impression if the Z Fold 7 is going to save the Z Fold lineup. Let's get started. As we know, the Samsung Z Fold was one of the first foldables out there on the market, aside from the Microsoft Surface Duo, which is really a great foldable within itself, although it was never considered a foldable, mainly because a foldable is considered a screen on the inside that actually folds. So Samsung has been one of the foldables around since the beginning, and they really were very innovative from the beginning with the large open screen and, of course, the front cover screen, as well as decent cameras that would take photography. They were never top of the line or truly considered flagship phones, although some might argue because they do have a 50 megapixel main shooter, which will lead us to the number one reason why I believe the Z Fold 7 will start to bring back interest in the Z Fold lineup. It's because the main shooter is going to be a 200 megapixel camera. Now, the 200 megapixel camera has been a draw for the Samsung Ultra lineup, as well as the other flagship cameras on the phone. And the Z Fold 7 is rumored to possibly get a 50 megapixel ultra wide as well. And if that's the case, that may be a good reason to get the Z Fold 7, because the cameras will become more flagship in their capability and performance. So the cameras could spark more enthusiasm towards the Z Fold 7. Now, the Z Fold 7 has gotten a lot of scrutiny over its front screen being so narrow, especially when you compare it to some of the modern day phones that are much wider and give you a much more compatible surface for texting on it versus this narrow little screen, which is very difficult to type on. But of course, if you do text to speech all the time, then that's not really a big deal. But just to pull it out and browse and check messages and stuff, I, for one, really never liked the narrow screen. So that's number 2 when they go for a wider screen. So apparently the new Z Fold 7 is going to have a 6.5 inch screen. This one's 6.3 on the outside. And most importantly, it's going to be quite a bit wider, matching that of some of the newer smartphones, like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold or even some of the Chinese versions. So that'll be a very welcome spec to make the outer screen much larger. That's going to be a big draw to the Z Fold 7. I think it's a very small consumer base that prefers this narrow screen because it's one-handable. But in order for you to get up and down the screen, you still have to shuffle up and down to use it one-handed, in my view. And then, of course, the internal screen being a much larger surface at 8 inches will be much appreciated by those like myself that like to browse a lot and use the foldable to consume a lot of media, which is something I really enjoy. So the larger screens will definitely be a plus and a draw to the Z Fold 7. I want to take a quick second and thank you for hanging out with me on the Z Fold series and talking about whether the Z Fold 7 is going to save the lineup. If you get something out of this video, please smash that like button. It really does help out the channel and helps me be able to make more video and content for you. I appreciate you being here. Let's get on to the rest of the video. Now, just the software alone on the Z Fold or any Samsung device is something that really draws you to it. There are so many features, and of course, there's a lot of extra features that you find on any Samsung device that you don't get from, especially these phones from other countries that don't quite stand up to the functionality of the Z Fold lineup. So there's number 3, the software. The software is really fine-tuned on the Z Fold devices because simply they've been doing it the longest. And so many people are used to the way the Samsung performs. So along with the better cameras and the larger screen, the software will draw me specifically back to the Z Fold, because right now I don't carry it as my daily driver simply because of the first 2 reasons. The software is unarguably one of the best in the industry. Now, what's really going to make that software perform? Well, it's going to be the new Snapdragon Elite chip that they're going to put in the Z Fold 7. So it's going to have one of the top-of-the-line chips in it. And I don't know if they are going to reduce the performance for heat issues like they do in some of the other foldables, where they got a 7-core chip instead of the full 8-core Elite chip. I think it would be great if they do put the 8-core Elite chip in this thing. because that'll definitely make it a much bigger draw in the countries that is available, like the US and Canada, to have the full-bore Snapdragon Elite chip in it. So with the faster chip and the larger screens, this will really make this a gamer's paradise for a phone, being able to game on the front screen like you can on all the bar phones, and then have that option to the full-size inner screen to really get engulfed in your gaming. So that Elite chip would be number 4. Now, number 5 would be to make sure that you can use the stylus or the Samsung S Pen on the outer and inner screen of the Z Fold 7. The stylus is one of the big features to the Z Fold lineup because you could use it on the inner screen. Now, the fact that you could never use it on the outer screen was kind of a downfall, but if they could fix that on this next one, that would be great. Otherwise, the Z Fold 7 having that S Pen and all the features that go along with it to use on this Z Fold is what makes it stand out among the rest. Yes, you can get pens for some of these foreign devices, but if you haven't looked, they're very difficult to get, and sometimes they're $200, $300 just to get their stylus pen for their phone. Now, they do work on the inside and outside. Maybe that's why they charge more, but Samsung has been pretty good as far as streamlining their S Pens and making them affordable and available. Now, some bonus reasons to get the Z Fold 7 is the fact that it's available in most countries and the fact that it has a 7-year guarantee for upgrades and support. That's much higher than all the other phones out there. And the fact that services and warranty are a local thing for the Z Fold lineup with Samsung. So what do you think? Is Samsung going to survive another year with some of these upgrades on the Z Fold 7, or are they just trying to get by? I would like to hear from you down in the comments. I would also like to know if you are a previous Z Fold user that have left the lineup simply because they never did change for the last 4 years, and if the Z Fold 7 is going to be enough change to draw you back. I'll go ahead and create a survey on the community page, so check that out and cast your vote today. Let us know, is the Z Fold 7 going to save the Z Fold lineup? This would be a great year to make a comeback. If you want to know more about the different foldables that are available today, check out this video here. Until next time, God bless.